Hello and welcome to the Stitch Goddess podcast. This is episode 15. My name is Elizabeth and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Elissa Pack. You can also follow the hashtag Stitch Goddess and Stitch Goddess podcast on Instagram to see everything that I've been up to. I am in a new space and I have some wonderful things to share with you. I have an announcement about sort of what's been going on in my personal life, and lots of finished objects, just a few things that are works in progress, but let's get started. So yes, I am in my sewing room, crafting room. All of my knitting, crafting, everything has moved into this room, and it's crowded in here. It's very interesting to see that this whole area is almost entirely yarn, and it's not even contained in the shelving unit. It's in bags and on the floor, and it's just creeping. So I am surrounded by abundance of things to make. So it's a much smaller room. There's only one window that's over there. I have sort of a very tight little nook in which to sit and knit. Not as comfortable, but I'm making it work. So that's exciting. The other exciting thing is I got a job. I have a full-time job and I absolutely love it. I'm so grateful to be working and helping people, and it's a wonderful place for me to be. It just is such a good fit, and I hope I'm going to be there for a very long time. So that's a wonderful thing, but it has also meant that it has cut down on all my knitting and crafting time, which is a lovely problem to have. I want to share a lot of the finished objects, or all the finished objects that I've made recently, and so let me get started. I finished, back in November, the Joji Locatelli Dragonflies Jumper. This is in Madelinetosh DK Twist in the sachet colorway. This was something I got in a club from Madelinetosh, and it's really warm. It's very bright on gray winter days. This is a wonderful, bright, colorful, cheerful thing to wear. The only problem was when I finished it, I followed the pattern and it had a garter stitch neckline, and I tried to put it on and it would not go over my head. So that was disappointing. It would not go. There would be no way. So I had to rip that out, and I put in a very simple 2x2 rib, and then I realized I wasn't going to be happy with the same treatment where it had the garter stitch cuffs or the hem. So I ripped those out and I put just the 2x2 rib in, and it works so much better, especially using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Very pleased with this. It was a long time working on it last year, and I finally got to wear it, and now the weather's changed, so it's a little bit too warm to wear. Also finished Phillips Flaxlight Sweater. This is in Malabrigo Sock in the Mart colorway. It is everything that I wanted it to be. It's lightweight, very flexible, very cozy, not pokey, which is his main complaint about some other sweaters that I've made him. And I had actually finished this and I was so pleased, and I washed it and blocked it and went to pick it up off of the blocking mat, and I noticed that there was a dropped stitch right at the top of the arm, and it was literally one of those moments where, how in the world did I miss that? I knit an entire sleeve. And so I got really used to ripping things out and re-knitting. So I had a few repairs to make. So this was not quite finished for Christmas, not quite finished. It was finished in early January, so I'm very pleased with this. And also, right before Christmas, I finished a pair of socks for my husband. These are the Earl Grey socks by Abby Morris, I think. And I had made myself a pair of pink socks just like this. In the feminine version, on these ribs, there is a yarn over, so it creates a little bit of a lace, and on the masculine version, it's just a purl stitch and a cable running down each foot, and they run towards each other. So there's definitely a right foot and a left foot. And I made these out of the Dream in Color Smooshie with cashmere, and they are, I think, very comfortable, and he gets a lot of wear out of them. I also finished my, I think, third pair of pink socks from last year. These are the Hermione Everyday Socks in the Hermione colorway from Junk Yarn. I thought it was a perfect match. I wore these the other day when I wore my big pink Dragonflies sweater. They're very cozy socks. I used a tubular cast on, so it creates a really nice rounded edge. And it was, I think, a modified Eye of Partridge heel. The heel feels like it's actually just too short for my foot, so that was interesting to learn. But it was also very interesting because I got to use magic loop on the entire sock. In previous versions, I've gone to using 3 needles as I do the heel, the gusset, until I get to the point where I can go back and do magic loop on the foot. And so this was interesting to learn that I could do a magic loop for the entirety of the sock. So that was a really nice thing to learn. Let's see, I had to make a list. I also decided to make a sparkling cider hat the pattern is by Kristen at Wool and Vine Yarns, and I chose to use the Ren and Ollie Equinox sock yarn with a strand of the Rowan Kid Silkays. Now I have a lot of this Rowan Kid Silkays. I was going to be making an icy sweater by Kim Hargreaves, and quite honestly I'm not motivated to work on it. It's the longest work in progress that I've ever had. It's been on the needles since 2004, and I'm just not going to finish it. And this was a fun project, but it was also the project that hated me. I did a tubular cast on, and I thought for sure I was going to hate working with mohair. It's very trendy right now, and I kind of don't get it. It's very soft, but I don't know. I think I grew up when like Angora hazy sweaters were really popular in the 80s, and it was never a good look for me or anyone, really. And so I also did do some beading on this, and I found some wonderful beads that are sort of a dark blue bronze color, but I used size 8, and it was very difficult to get smaller beads onto the yarn when it was held doubled. So that was, and then now, even though I did it, you cannot see the beads at all. So that was very disappointing. This project did not like me very much, but I finished it, and I think I might gift this, but I think it really, really needs like a faux fur pom-pom on the top. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to give it to someone who will hopefully wear it and appreciate it. But I might make myself another hat like this, just because I don't quite want to give up on the idea of using mohair. But I also finished a pair of socks. These are what I'm calling the magic flying socks for my son. And I used Ms. Monster Creations minis I bought this wonderful project bag from the Ginger U in Knoxville, close to where I live, and it had all these little mini skeins, and I had it in my cart for the longest time on Etsy, and I just really liked this bag, and I finally just gave in. And one morning Philip and I were just sitting looking at different yarns, and he said he wanted a pair of magic socks, and that some of these colors were just magical to him. And so I just modified the Flying North sock pattern by Maria Monska from Stitched in Sweden and sort of did a fade. And this was the second sock, and I just love how it turned out. I ended up using an heels and cuff yarn from Woolberry. This is from her Christmas Advent calendar from last year, and this was the Decorating the Tree colorway. And I just think they're really cute. They're a little bit big, but he'll grow into them and then he'll very quickly grow out of them. So these have not been washed or blocked yet, so that's why they're a little bit funny looking. But I think it was just a really quick project. As far as works in progress, I am doing a whole lot of work on my Zweig sweater, and I just this morning finished the color work section. This is actually the back. And so I am kind of disappointed that the color work is gone, that the rest of the sweater is just going to be all this bright color. This color is the Lepidoptera Madeline Tosh Merino Light. The contrasting color is this amazing Ren and Ollie Exotica singles. I'm doing quite a bit of work on this right now, and I'm just about to go to Body Island, and then it'll be Sleeve Island. I'm wondering if I could possibly do some sort of little triangle treatment around the cuff to bring the color work back in. I think that could be fun, but we'll see. So that is one particular project that I'm working on, and the next one is another pair of socks, but this one is this will be the Emily's Favorite socks. I'm guessing that the final product will be a really slouchy kind of sock, because I'm doing a size medium, and you cast on 80 stitches, and it feels like it's going to be really big and really stretchy. I have just finished the cuff portion. This is the first sock, and I've just started doing the 3x1 rib, and I am using the 3 Irish Girls yarn in the Adorn Luxe base. It's a fingering weight in the Très Chic colorway, and I had originally bought this thinking that I would pair the heels and toes with this sort of Tiffany blue aqua color, one of my favorite colors, but I really think that what I did was I wound up this little mini skein. This was also from the Woolberry Fiber Company Advent Calendar from last year, and I think this sort of nutmeg color is going to look just a little bit more sophisticated with these socks. So I'm enjoying having a small project that isn't going to take much brain power. The Zweig sweater is the big project that I'm going to very soon need to pay a little bit more attention to, because it has a pattern in the body. I have also just received back recently the Awesome Ocean quilt. The quilting part is done, and oh my word, she did an amazing job. I do not have a long arm quilting machine, and all of the details are just so amazing. It's just really lovely. All I have to do is make a binding for it, and then it'll be done. And I'll probably make a label too, so that it can be properly labeled and for posterity. I am also doing a lot of quilting right now. Right here I have just the long sort of three strips sewn together. This is the center piece for an Irish chain quilt. I have some friends who asked me to make a quilt for them as a gift for one of their friends, and I'm feeling the pressure to get it done quickly, because it's not going to be done by the end of March. So, but it's going to be beautiful. Some of the colors are just absolutely stunning, and I think it's going to turn out really, really well. But there is quite a bit of quilting. I have about 6 quilts that I have either cut out or I'm in various stages of. It's not very interesting to show little bits of fabric, but I think it's once things kind of come together, it will be much more interesting. And that's sort of what's going on right now. I wish I could spend some time, and maybe I will make another video where I just talk about all the yarn that I have in my stash now. We're in the season of Lent right now, and someone asked me, what did you give up for Lent? And I said, buying yarn, because I have been on a spree at absolute impulses, buying anything that suits, that sort of strikes my fancy with no particular plan, except thinking, oh, I'll make socks with that, I'll make socks with that. As you can see, this is my sock box, and it is overflowed, and it's been a lot of fun, and I pulled everything out and had it all organized at one point, just sort of taking a look at everything that I have, and it was glorious. And so I've really built up a lovely stash, and I can't wait to just to use it. I'm not saving any of this yarn as something for a special occasion. Almost everything kind of has a plan. Coming up, I will be casting on, I kind of felt like my urge to make pink socks has ended, and so I felt really strongly that I wanted to make a pair of sort of pale blue socks or aqua socks, and that's where Emily's favorite socks got cast on. But very soon I will be making a pair of socks out of this, which is such a lovely color. It's the Wool Barn Cashmere Sock in Lake, and I will be making Helen Stewart's Shell Cottage socks. I just think this is going to be such a lovely color. It is such a lovely color. I think the color and the pattern are really going to go well together. It's just going to be very lovely. So that's ready to go. I have another cake of yarn. This is also a Smitten Kitten yarn by Ren and Ollie. It's their twisted single, and I'm going to be making, I think it's called the Piece of Wild Things shawl by Helen Stewart. So 2 more projects by Helen Stewart. That will be coming soon. And, you know, as is, you know, a couple cardigans where I'll be using more of the Lepidoptera colorway. I'm going to make a floozy cardigan where the body is this beautiful Woolberry Fiber Company truffle. This will be the teeny tiny accent color, and then this will be the sort of second color. So you'll end up having, so this, and this, these 3 colors together, I think are going to be beautiful. And so I'm really looking forward to making a floozy cardigan. So there's so much to make, and being in this room where every time I come in, I am confronted by the abundance of everything that I have. I mean, under here, I have all this amazing fabric, and it's time to stop collecting and start making. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this year. And I'm so thankful if you came to spend some time with me, and I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I'm making. I hope you're enjoying the almost spring that we're having, and that you are enjoying your making, crafting, sewing, knitting life as well. Thank you for watching. Bye.